Hi, I'm Angee.
And I'm Jaime.
Taking care of our mental health is the key to happiness.
But even the best therapists sometimes lose their keys.
Join us for Therapeutic Happy Hour as we address the absurdities of life's daily expectations as best friends, mothers, and yes, even therapists.
Welcome to The Shrink Show.
This is The Shrink Show. Welcome. Today's topic, in trying to figure out what exactly to talk about and how we would make this work, we realized we don't know how to be normal.
No.
So
It took us about 10 minutes to figure out how to sit.
And are we doing it?
Yeah. Does this look good?
Is this right?
Is this normal?
It doesn't feel normal.
Yeah.
How does one sit on the YouTubes?
I know.
So, what is normal? And actually, I did have a conversation with somebody the other day. I went to a graduation party, and it was a family member's sister, and she had some mental health concerns. And so she was a little different. She held my hand for a really long time. She had this game she was playing on her phone while everybody's having conversations. And she just kept turning around and staring at me. And once she left, her sister came over to me and said, "Thank you for being so nice to my sister. She has some mental health issues." And it turned into a conversation of, why do we feel like we have to say that?
To ask for forgiveness.
Right.
Just by acting
Right.
like ourselves.
Because perhaps maybe she makes people feel uncomfortable, or it isn't what is perceived as normal, so we have to explain it.
Or was it her, or was it the sister who
Right.
was like, oh, that's not normal, so I'm going to go apologize.
Right.
Because I'm uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
But then it makes me sad, because how often do we do that? How often do we explain away even our kids' behavior?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. With my kids, when they're hyper and like overly tired, I'm like, oh, they're drunk. I'm so sorry. Because they're just running in circles and it's past their bedtime and they're delirious.
Well, they are pretty much like drunk, though.
Yes, and that's why I'm like, I'm so sorry, my child.
I always like to say, whose kids are those? They should really get them under control.
Because you're like, get in the car.
Get in the car. But I used to do the same thing about my mom. I used to apologize to everyone in public, and it was because I felt like it wasn't normal, and I wanted to do everything I could to be normal. And so there's like that box of normal, which I feel like as a society we are expanding out of, that what is normal it's not the same as it was 10 years ago, because I got tattoos and a piercing 20 years ago, and
and 20 years ago tattoos were so different. They
Right.
were like, oh, you have tattoos. Like you're either jail, gang,
right,
questionable life choices, and now it's, well, who doesn't have one?
right. My grandma now has one.
Yes.
But 10 years ago, my grandma had an intervention with me about my tattoo because she thought it would destroy my career.
Yeah.
Who's the horse now?
Luckily, no one knows what that means, so that's normal. Oh, gosh.
Lordy.
But normal has changed. I've told you this. Normal has changed literally throughout history.
Right.
That's enter our field, right?
Yeah.
And
Tell me about it.
well, how much time do we have? Because it'll be a while. But think about, historically speaking, normal, they would initially put everybody who wasn't normal in an institution. So that would include like physically disabled, mentally disabled, right? And that's not necessarily intellectually disability or mental health, like all lumped together.
Well,
right?
and this is a lot of the mainstream, like the white population, right? Not so much the indigenous populations, because I feel like there's that phrase, the village idiot, with some cultures, but then there was also,
Right.
I can't, and I don't want to misspeak, but I feel like there's there is a culture where, when you were almost displaying some mentally ill tendencies, you were seen as hearing from God.
Right.
You were seen as enlightened versus needing to be ostracized.
Right. Well, yes. I mean, I think in indigenous cultures, enter white people coming in saying, oh, well, they're hallucinating.
Right.
Let's diagnose that as schizophrenia.
Because that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah. They're talking to God, or they are God.
How dare they?
But like...
Because everybody knows, the people who wrote the Bible, they were the ones that talked to God.
They were. I know. A lot of questions. But yeah, I think just speaking from a medical standpoint, we have had so much history in which we've just thrown together anybody who makes us uncomfortable, just like that person at the graduation party was like, oh, I'm so sorry that person probably made you uncomfortable because I was feeling uncomfortable, so I'm going to apologize on their behalf. So in the olden days, all shoved into an institution, right? And then even things like, look at the DSM, which is what diagnoses all the people we work with. They used to literally diagnose women who were experiencing PMS symptoms, right? So think about...
Or homosexuals
Yes.
was a diagnosis.
Yes. It used to be considered a mental illness. So you could go to therapy and get fixed from that diagnosis, right? And now, flash forward to today, that's not even in there.
Ironically, hundreds of years before...
So normal.
So normal.
Yeah.
Like,
the Greeks and the Romans loved it. Like, just everything was so fluid back then.
But how much does this idea of normal, like I can tell you as a kid growing up, it stressed me out to be perceived as different, to be perceived as unique, to be perceived as anything that didn't fit in. If I put on something that I liked and would go to school and the kids would be like, ooh, where'd you get that outfit? I would never wear that outfit again.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't want to stand out.
Yeah.
And so how much does it hold us back from being our true self? That
Right.
idea of I need to fit in, I need to look apart. Even business, to be a business owner or to, a CEO of a business corporation. You can't have colorful hair.
Yeah. Can't have tattoos.
But why?
Or face piercings. Yeah.
Because we have this idea of what that person looks like. And so until somebody is brave enough to push the envelope and challenge that idea.
But that's where, when you and I were talking about this is what we would talk about, I was thinking normal truly is just your internal subjective experience.
Based on what?
Right? Based on your own experience. And so it's fascinating that we are trying to be normal based on other people's definition of normal.
Right.
And like you were saying, coming to the point in which people nowadays, I think, are pushing the envelope of, you know what, I think this is normal. I'm going to try this out. Try this on for size and like dye my hair mermaid. My daughter says you have unicorn hair.
That's
so I'm
right.
like, see, look it. We can have unicorn hair and be just fine.
And
be
be
blonde
alright.
Asians. Like, this is just what we do.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Well, but then society too, even just what's on TV.
Yes.
But in some ways, I can't stand all of the YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, and there's just so many, and the Book of Faces, and the Googles and the internets and all of that. There's so much, yet at the same time, because there is such a wide array of people on there, I don't have this Barbie doll idea of what a woman should look like. So now I can expand that normal box of what is normal. My kids aren't bound to some of the expectations that I feel like my generation was bound to based on what was coming in.
Right.
Where
What a
I
woman
lived.
should look like. What a woman's body size should look like.
Right.
What beauty, meaning typically white features
Right.
with cheekbones, looked like. Yeah.
Especially-
Our children are definitely getting a very different definition of normal.
It's so encouraging.
It's helpful for me because I'm like, oh, I guess this, because I'm trying to teach my kids, this is normal. And then I have to have my own internal battle of like, this is safe because this is definitely not what I was taught growing up. Like, I was taught growing up, this is normal, right? You dress and act a certain way, right? Can't have facial piercings and tattoos because I was definitely pushed upon. Need a college education.
Yeah.
Definitely body size, being straight, all sorts of these identities, these boxes that we check off. And so here I am teaching my kids, yeah, if you want to dress like that, go for it.
Well, and
Because they don't know.
And what's incredible with that, I was just talking the other day about how the generation, the people who are 15, 20 years younger than me, the women, we're thicker, right? They're thicker, yet they don't hesitate to wear crop tops, to wear two pieces, to show their confidence, and yet I still find myself stuck within that.
I'm stuck in the 90s
Yeah.
of like stick, real thin,
Right.
probably anorexic,
Right.
unhealthy, impossible body images.
Yeah, that 36, 24, 36.
Yes.
Only if she's 5'3". But I find myself stuck within that, and I look at these young girls, and I am jealous of them. I am proud of them. I am, inspired by them to find my own confidence to be able, like with my own body, to be able to not worry about what it appears to anyone else. Because I got the mom belly, from having the babies.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's so many of these young girls that seem to have that same thing without having had children.
And then you're like, I guess this is how bodies are made.
And they don't give a shit, and I love
because
it.
that's how fucking bodies are made.
God, it is. And so there's that freedom
Right.
that I even within myself haven't found
Yes.
how to experience yet, and I really want to.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
You will.
Maybe that'll be the next stage of my evolution. I'll be wearing...
You're working way down from your hair and tattoos
That's right.
to the midsection.
Maybe there will be a YouTube podcast of me wearing,
Crop tops.
a really, really string bikini and feeling confident. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there.
No, that's okay.
You're like, I don't want to see that. We don't want to see it.
There are some things that we should leave in our 20s.
Oh, Lord.
Or maybe not. Girl, you do you. That's
right.
what I read. I'm like,
That's
hey,
right.
they feel good. That's all I'm here for. As long as you feel good in your body, doing what you want, and you're not causing harm to self or others, I am 110% for it.
All about
Every
it.
day.
All day. Day. I feel like I'm going off the rails.
I know. I'm sure we have a point.
I don't know if I have. I'll drink to
I know. So in conclusion.
Normal.
Yeah.
I do want to tell you a funny story, though.
Okay.
Are you ready for this? And I don't know if this fits into the normal, but it was really funny. So I don't take my children to church. Shocker. And I just took them. I know, that's not normal.
We're both drinking gin before like noon. It's fine. What is normal?
That is normal? I don't know. So don't take my children to church. And I recently took them to a Catholic wedding.
I was raised Catholic, so
Yes, those are
thoughts
long.
and prayers.
Yes, be with you, and also with you.
And also stand up, sit down, fight, fight, fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, my 6-year-old daughter, Juno, obviously has not been in a church too often, especially since COVID. So there were weddings, but there weren't a lot that we could go to, and I also did not want to take my children because they were off the rails, hyper all the time. So 6, and she leans over about 10 minutes in, and she goes, Mom, why are there so many plus signs around the church?
Because they love addition. In
It's
the
a positive
Catholics.
place.
Yes.
But she didn't understand that they were crosses.
Right.
So then I had to talk to her about Jesus and give her, a real
Oh gosh.
real brief
Quick rundown
of who Jesus
Christianity
is during the wedding. But I felt it important she understand, at which point we get to Jesus dying on the cross, and she then is confused and says, "But I thought Jesus was a baby."
And she's not wrong.
Because of the nativity scene, which then I was reminded of Step Brothers, where, isn't it Step Brothers or is it Talladega Nights? I'm not sure, where he says, I prefer to think of it as baby
Little
Jesus.
baby Jesus.
Little baby Jesus is my favorite Jesus. Can we pray to little baby Jesus?
Yeah.
And I just realized that growing up, I feel like I understood, even though we didn't go to church very often, I feel like I understood about Jesus and God, and I don't know, I kind of found it endearing and refreshing, and also I was a little bit like, ooh, am I not doing my job as a parent that she doesn't know about Jesus and God? But it's a story. There's a lot of stories she doesn't know about. I mean, whether you believe in it or don't, it's still a good story.
Yeah.
There's still lessons that I've taught her about what Jesus taught, but not necessarily in the context of Jesus.
Of Jesus, yeah.
So, is Christianity the normal anymore, or is it this spirituality? Because in that wellness day that we did the other day, she apologized for having spiritual beliefs, and liking astrology, but I'm still a Christian.
And how to justify it, yeah. Those justifiers.
Do we justify because we feel like it's not normal?
Yeah, because, in certain religions, it is unacceptable to also believe in astrology. So she had to disclaim, well, I still am Christian and believe in astrology.
So who are we saying? Are we saying that to ourselves?
Oh, 100%. I am always of the belief that we are always behaving and saying, doing, because of our own internal life story every time.
God, it makes me think of all of the things.
Because in what way did we insinuate to this participant, like, you better be Christian, 110%, or you better believe in astrology?
Well, yeah,
we just happen to randomly talk about astrology, I think.
And not once did we mention Christianity.
And not once did we say one direction or the other. We were like, oh, cool, what do you think? And then there was that disclaimer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because who did that provide comfort to?
Her.
That person, yeah, that's fine. But that's okay. That's where she's at. She needed that comfort.
That's a good point.
Good for her. Giving her that comfort. Probably taking care of that little one inside.
So, I think then, for me moving forward, looking at the things that I apologize for.
What do you apologize for?
I don't know. My children, if they make other people uncomfortable, I used to apologize.
Are they also the things you apologize for within your kids? Are they things that are your features?
Probably. Yeah.
Like my daughter, I'm like, sorry for her face, because her face is mine. Because people, as a grown-up, people are just like, Jamie's just like that. Her face is just like that. And I can handle it.
Resting bitch face.
Ish. Right? Because I still apologize for it. But as soon as my daughter does it, I'm like, I'm so sorry. Even though that's literally what the two of us do the best. It's just, You want to talk to me?
Judging you so hard right
I'm
now.
not judging you, I just have opinions.
Wait.
The correct opinions.
What was the thing about opinions? I just saw something. Did you send it to me? That opinions are...
I love memes. They're just smartest,
I don't even
funniest
remember.
things I've ever seen in my life. I'm so proud of people who are funny on the internet.
Like opinions aren't based in fact. They're not factual. They're just how you see the world. But we think opinions are facts. We act as though they are facts. Like, I'm judging you, or I have an opinion of you. And so even as the receiver on that end, we take that as fact.
Right. Well,
So,
we have to, because otherwise, what does that mean for you if your opinion is wrong?
right.
Or not wrong, but just not accepted by the greater audience. Enter being normal.
Right.
I have to play the part, right?
Well, and if I think you have resting bitch face, then
Yeah.
what does that mean for you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my gosh.
People must not like me.
Right.
Because my face is making them uncomfortable. But that's
still,
their issue.
It still makes me uncomfortable.
I'm like, that's
I'm
your
gonna be
issue.
honest.
That's your issue. Because I'm a delight. And you've gotten...
Fucking delight.
And you and I both know that's bad. Enter my resting
opinion. But you're right. I do. I apologize. I apologize for my children when they are wild and rambunctious or have
or they're
really
too much
big
of something.
Emotions
Yeah.
and blow up, which
and big
I have been
emotions
known
are
to
not
do.
normal.
Mm-hmm.
Again, in our society, yeah. Because that goes back to like mental health, mental illness, why they were institutionalized.
Oh my God! So then, how much of this stems from my childhood growing up?
All of it.
With my mom.
Every session, every day.
Schizoaffective disorder.
Yes.
And me being uncomfortable with people at, the grocery store staring at her as she shuffles back and forth because of her medication or has that really loud laugh.
Yeah.
Or stares at them.
Or she gets angry and is like belligerent angry, loud.
Right.
Extreme emotions make you uncomfortable when your children exhibit it because you experienced that when you were younger. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that younger Angee inside is just like, oh my gosh, it's so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
People are staring. And that same feeling, I bet, comes back when your kids are being age appropriate.
Right.
But you're just like, oh my gosh,
everyone's staring.
Yeah. This is why we're each other's therapists.
God. I'll drink to that. Shit.
I'm so glad you're a therapist. We can work through these things together.
That's why no therapist can judge anyone because, holy shit, we are hot messes ourselves. And I feel like maybe that's the new normal. Everyone is a hot mess.
Everyone is cleaning up their own shit.
Right, because it's a hot mess.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But we all have our messes. Some of those are generational. Some of those are, individual. If you believe in living other lives, it could be from other lives.
Some of them are from religions. Some of them are from our friends.
Politics.
Yeah. All of it.
We're all just trying to clean it up.
Stay afloat from our own shit. Yay.
Oh, I just got a visual, and that was not a good visual.
That's not what I was going for.
I know, and I'm sorry, audience. Did not mean to give you that visual.
If you got it, that means some people got that.
I'm sure. I just pictured floating in a sewer.
It's all right. It's all right.
Boop.
I think, if anything, since this is our first podcast, we don't know what we're doing.
That's right.
This is where I would say
I
genuinely would want to ask people what their normal is. Like just how people would define it. What is normal? What is your normal? What do you consider normal? Do you find yourself doing this same rabbit hole of I get uncomfortable and I have to excuse myself because I don't feel normal right now? It would be interesting dialogue.
It would. But I almost feel like there is no normal. Kind of like the Matrix, there is no spoon. Once you realize there is no normal, that normal is this construct that we have put on ourselves, that society
and it's never obtainable.
Right.
It's like perfection.
It is.
Yeah.
And so if there's no normal and there's no perfection, there just is. There is being human. There's humanity. There's uniqueness. There's the mistakes and the lessons and the medicine of life and just being. And if you don't accept me, that speaks more to who you are than it does to me.
Yeah.
So as long as I'm confident with what I perceive as normal, and I allow your normal to be different from my normal,
Right.
then I'm winning at life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fucking winning.
You summed it up. I don't need anyone's opinion anymore. Your opinion's the best.
I don't need anyone to tell me who I am. Yes. I don't give a sip.
That's not what mine says. Mine says, sorry I'm late. I didn't want to come.
Oh, that's your normal.
That's my normal because I'm late to everything.
You are.
But you know what? Time is a construct. We can talk about that later.
In our next episode. Actually, don't know. Not sure. But thank you for coming today. We appreciate you. Hopefully you enjoy this.
Yes.
And maybe can go out and feel a little more confident with a little more pep in your step.
Living your definition of normal. Or Angie's definition of normal. Because it was the right one. She did it.
I did it. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
If you think we're cool,
Or even if you don't,
please like or subscribe so you'll stay up to date on all things The Shrink Show.
feel free to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at The Shrink Show.
You can also visit our website at theshrinkshowpodcast.com to check out some of our merch, submit your episode topic requests, tell us a funny story, or even donate money or gin to the cause.
Thank you for choosing to spend a portion of your life with us. And remember, don't take yourself too seriously. Life is all a giant shrink show.
Side effects of listening to this podcast may include side aches or snorting from laughter, impromptu jazz hands, nodding in agreement even though you might be listening alone, an occasional "you said it, girl," and mild cases of existential dread. This podcast is strictly for entertainment and informative purposes only and is not intended or implied to diagnose, treat, or otherwise substitute for professional mental health, medical, legal, or other advice. Thank you.